This week on Top Travel, Jeannie and Janez unleash their inner gladiators in Rome. Jeannie makes pizza in Napoli. They explore the city's underground, traverse the Piazza del Plebiscito, and then board their next cruise liner, the regal Queen Elizabeth.
Why on earth have we left the eternal city of Rome behind to come walk in a forest?
Well, because over the years, I've learned that your greatest skill is talking. Talking. But today it's not about talking, it's about action. Putting your money where your mouth is. You want to be a gladiator?
For sure.
You'll be one.
What, you think I can't walk the walk? Yeah. Wow.
Ta-da!
Hi,
Mr.
welcome.
Gladiator,
How are
your
you?
gladiator school.
Hi,
Welcome to the Gladiator School. How are you?
The Gladiator School. You've
Yeah.
got very big, strong legs. I'm a little scared.
No, don't be.
I just want to wrap my head around this. Are these the real weapons? All of those down there, are those the real weapons the gladiators used to use?
Yeah, historically correct.
But why would they fight? Was it for sport or was it for
Well-
war? Why?
Actually, nobody knows why they start doing this. The only sure thing is that in 264 before Christ, we have the first historical evidence of gladiators fight in Rome. It was to celebrate the funeral of a very important man. Two men fighting each other because they thought that the blood of the man fighting may be useful to give quiet to the dead man. After they discovered it was a show anyway, and they started organizing this kind of fightings even without funeral, just for show.
Janez gets this awesome outfit. He really does look the part. And then they give me like a little toga thingy. Those little togas were only worn by the slaves and the prostitutes.
That's for you as a triax helmet.
Wow, I can see nothing almost.
So you see here
No,
and here,
no.
so perfect.
But why? Well, why would they make it like that?
Because it was not to protect you, it was a game for the Roman. It has to give you a handicap while fighting, not to protect.
That's very cruel. This gladiator school was the real deal. It was as it was in the old days. Those swords were heavy, those helmets were heavy, and it's very exhausting. I consider myself quite fit and quite strong. But after 5 to 10 minutes of wearing that armor and holding that sword, I was exhausted.
There's lots of different tricks to win in a gladiator fight. One of them is the little hooks on the helmet. You could basically take a net, swivel it around, lock it on the hook, and bring down your opponent, and then stab him. I don't need sword skills. He's not a very good gladiator, but he's a damn good catch.
Defeated. This is incredible. I've never felt this before, and we've traveled throughout the world. There are 280 fountains in Rome. Of all of those fountains, this is the most famous one of all, if not the most famous fountain in the world, the Trevi Fountain. Do you ever want to come back to Rome?
Yes,
Absolutely. I'll teach you a trick. Jeans, you'll see there are hundreds of coins in there. In fact, every year, 700,000 euros end up in that fountain. Now, the city actually donated to a good cause, to the needy. The trick is, if you want to come back to the Eternal City one day, to Rome, you've got to take 3 coins in your right hand and throw them over your left shoulder. Okay. If they make it into the fountain, we're coming back.
Well, it's good karma too.
Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Back to Rome one day.
I'm really happy to be coming back.
But anyway, I need to come back because I was on my way to beating that gladiator until you threw that net over my head.
Oh, you can't still be going on about that, Janez. Really?
I am.
You're too competitive.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Is that a challenge?
That's a challenge.
Fine.
state-of-the-art gym. You'll find it difficult to find a gym as good as this on land. They've even got a boxing ring in the middle of the gym. Amazing.
Just in case you get frustrated with your partner and need a little release.
So, we're going to give Jeans a little boxing lesson with these babies. Boxing ring on the ship, that was great. I wish I had a formidable opponent. I couldn't take it out on poor Jeans. So let's do it. Jab, jab, and hook. Oh!
Jeannie D, Muhammad Ali, same thing.
This ship has got so much entertainment, especially for like an adrenaline sports junkie freak like myself. We had a Waverider. I mean, who would think you'd have a Waverider on a ship?
If you're going to fall, fall elegantly.
When I was young, my mom bought me a skateboard because it was cool. And I had that skateboard for about 5 years, and after 5 years, I still couldn't ollie. They bought me a surfboard, and I took it out about 400 times, and I still couldn't stand. Went on the Waverider, I thought there's no chance I'm ever gonna stand up. I stood. Straight up.
I'm officially the world's worst wave rider. I don't even think I stood up. Climbing wall. Who would have thought I'm a little monkey?
Okay.
Please just push up with your legs.
Yeah.
She's going already. Oh, come on. You can use the wall.
It's a not very good test.
Push, no.
I totally beat Janez. Like, quickly.
When you climb up a wall, you've got to go according to the color. So I abided to those rules and I climbed according to color.
How do you say champion in English? Champion.
Up next, Jeannie's getting an authentic pizza-making lesson before she and Janez head underground into the subterranean world of Naples.
When the moon hits my eye like a big... Why am I spinning pizza pie? That's amore.
Isn't it so wonderful in Napoli?
It's beautiful. The sun is shining, the weather is hot, and I'm going to go walk down this boulevard.
Well, you can't, because this is the place that gave the world one of the greatest contributions to mankind.
You!
The pizza.
Ah, the pizza. I
Let's
love
go
pizza.
get some.
I'm hungry. Now I want to go for a walk.
I'm gonna go get pizza.
You go get me pizza. Mwah!
Man.
The Italians take their pizza so seriously that they actually passed a bill in Parliament saying that no frozen pizza with any frozen toppings on top of it could be called a traditional Italian pizza. It has to be the real deal.
Hi, Gino.
Hi.
How are
ciao.
you? I'm Jeannie.
Gino.
Lovely to meet you. You're going to teach me how to make a pizza?
Sì, ok.
I'm not very good in the kitchen, so you're going to have to show me with absolute skill. Okay, where do we begin?
Allora, farina.
Oh, he doesn't
Sì.
speak English.
When a chef has got pretty blue eyes like that guy had, it doesn't matter what language he was speaking. There's only one language you need to know. Body language.
Okay.
Pomodoro. Allora, metto prima io sulla mia
pomodoro,
pizza.
that's
e dopo
tomato.
tu. Sì, uno e un poco.
A popular myth holds that the archetypal pizza was invented in 1889 because a chef was commissioned to make some pies for Queen Margherita, and he made a whole lot of them, basically like pita breads, pita flatbreads, I suppose, with decoration on them. And she fell in love with the one that looked like the Italian flag, the green basil, red tomatoes, and white mozzarella balls. Hence, it's now called the Margherita pizza. Oh, so this is actually the skill. You've got to slide the pizza off here onto the wooden board in such a way that it doesn't change the shape too much or fall apart.
Aspetta, ok. Non ti muovere, non ti muovere, non ti muovere. C'è un po' così. Aspetta. Ok, ok. Ah, perfetta! È più bella la tua che la mia. Bellissima.
I made a pizza!
La tua pizza. La tua pizza.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Ciao!
Oh, that's classic. Jeans may act like a dumb blonde sometimes, but she doesn't think like a dumb blonde. She knows that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. It looks delicious.
Dig in.
Now, pizza was invented in Naples in 1860. That's a long time ago. The first pizza ever. And if you think about it, pizza is the only word that everyone in the world understands, from China to South America to the South Pole.
Pizza and love. It's two of the same things, really.
Margarita at its best. Well done. I'm proud of you.
I love that we've got a soundtrack to Italy. The road we're on is called Spacca Napoli, and the reason for that is because spacca in Italian means to cut, and this road basically cuts the two sides of Napoli like a pizza slice, because Napoli is run on a grid-like system that was invented by the Romans.
There's more than just what the eye sees. There's a beautiful city above ground, but below ground, there's a whole different world. About 5,000 years, the Greeks rocked up and started building their ancient walls and tombs and cisterns which collected rainwater. And then the Romans rocked up 2,400 years ago and built aqueducts. And they found this crushed ash from Vesuvius, which they called tufa, and they built all these beautiful buildings.
Underground as well?
Underground.
I love traveling with you. You're like my personal historian. Napoli is overlooked by the powerful Mount Vesuvius, and it's incredible. It's a bustling little city. Everywhere you go, you just hear the tooting of scooters everywhere. But beneath this espresso-fueled cacophony lies the silence of this incredible hidden city. New York has the subways, London has the underground, the Ninja Turtles have the sewers, and Napoli has the Sotterriana.
Centuries of history preserved right underneath our feet. I hope you're not claustrophobic.
A little.
40 meters below the old city of Naples is a completely different world, isolated by time, but completely connected to the city above. Dr. Enzo, what were all of these underground spaces used for over the years?
Ecco, ma definiamo che è il più grande riutilizzo che ha dissetato per 2000 anni.
After the Greeks used it as a cave of tough stone to dug out the stones, it was transformed, and by the Romans too, in a big aqueduct. During the Second World War, Naples was a city which was the city most bombarded in Italy. The people, the population, started to use the underground to save the city. So in 40 meters under the street, they use it as an air shelter.
Naples is a very historical place, and all of that history is recorded underground. It's all recorded on the yellow tufa stone, which you find underneath the city.
Qui vedi, noi siamo nel teatro romano, questa è la platea.
So now we are inside the stage of the theater. We will go inside an apartment. We will see the backstage of the theater. You have to imagine, there the people sit and hear Emperor Nero come and sing.
We were taken into this traditional Neapolitan apartment and led into this room, and underneath the bed, the floor gave way to this incredible Roman Greco theatre where Nero performed for the first time. That was where he was actually baptized into the art world.
Doctor, where did your fascination for the underground come from?
Perché siamo predestinati dal destino.
He thinks that it's destiny. It's destiny because everybody of us have a destiny, and his destiny was to become a geologist and an archaeologist. And we have everywhere stones around us, and the stones talk. Now we are inside the backstage of the Roman theatre, and you can see the Roman architecture. The first wall against earthquakes, the Opus Compositum. It was not destroyed. It's from the 1st century after Christ.
Whenever people speak about Naples, they always speak about Pompeii, which is unbelievable, and Mount Vesuvius. And those are two must-sees. But the third one has to be Napoli Underground.
Stay tuned. We're traversing the Piazza del Plebiscito blindfolded before boarding the Queen Elizabeth, our duo's next luxurious cruise liner.
If you want to know what's so funny, we're standing at the Piazza del Plebiscito.
We've got the Gulf of Naples almost flowing into this piazza. It's so beautiful. In front of us, the Royal Palace, and then behind us, that beautiful U-shaped building with all the columns is the Church of San Francisco de Paolo. Now, this piazza was actually dedicated to Napoleon by his brother-in-law, Murat.
Now, for the punchline.
There's this old myth and tradition that it is impossible to blindfold yourself, walk along the piazza, and end up between those two statues of horses and kings. Now, we are very competitive, and we will not lose. We've just seen people go, and they went way off. They ended up somewhere along the side.
And I'll go straight through the middle, I promise you that.
We cannot be dominated by this.
Final big challenge, the be-all and end-all, was the challenge in Napoli. Very easy challenge on Piazza del Plebiscito. Walk from the one side to the other side, the goal to get through two statues with horses.
It is so difficult. It looks like you're walking on a flat surface, but it's cobbled, so there's so many different bumps that you think you're following a straight path, but you're not. I mean, I veered off completely, and in my mind, I thought I was going dead straight.
She headed straight into the road. She could have been knocked over by a car. That's how badly wrong she went.
Did I make it through? Really? Oh my goodness! So what, I went through and then I went skew? Yes!
I have to say,
Basically, Jeannie's got the best direction in the world. She immediately went right, and the director actually had to go fetch her, otherwise she would walk into the road. I, however, went straight through the middle, and only when I went through did I start going skew. Hey? Wow!
saved my life. I was like, why am I hearing cars? I was freaking out completely.
Sing a song for me. For he is the champion, my friend.
And we'll keep on fighting to the end. We are the champions. We are the champions.
I am the champion.
No time for losers. I can't believe I almost died, and what you do is you mock me. That was special. I really feel like I left a part of myself in Rome. What an incredible city.
And you looked cute in a Fiat 500.
I love that.
But for me, Napoli was special. I just loved it. I felt it in my heart. The home of pizza. And then most importantly, there's only one of us that made it through the statues. And in my little world, that's all that counts.
It's okay. You really are the best at going through life blind.
Oh, thanks, Jeans. Bye-bye, Napoli!
Mwah, ciao!
I was of the opinion that a cruise is a cruise is a cruise, but that notion was completely dispelled when stepping aboard the Queen Elizabeth. Ah, isn't this positively luxurious? This week, we experience a golden age of travel as we set sail on the Queen Elizabeth, named by Her Majesty herself.
And you know how we love the best of the best. We love the best trains, the best planes, and now one of the best ships of all time. And it really is an intimate experience. It's personal. It's about enjoying the finer things in life. Now, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to behave myself, and I'm going to try and act like a true English gentleman.
Oh, what a marvelous idea. At least you won't be making a royal spectacle of yourself this time round. And I'm really going to get into British culture. There's a library over there to explore, and, well, I think I might go and have myself a pint at the pub.
The Queen Elizabeth is not a ship, or it doesn't feel like a ship. It feels like an old school glamorous yacht. You know, one of those old beautiful wooden sailing ships. It's that prestigious.
The first feeling that I have on the ship is a feeling of peace and tranquility. And this library really does pay homage to that old world time of travel. I love this beautiful globe they have. You can almost plot your journey as you travel through the world. Also, beautiful wooden floors and bookshelves, and they've got this incredible staircase that winds up to a second volume. Over 6,000 books in this library. I wonder if they have a book about this actual ship. Found it. The original Queen Elizabeth.
The Queen Elizabeth is just fantastically British. I think Winston Churchill said it best when he said, "I'm not difficult to please. I'm easily satisfied with the best." The theatre is certainly very grand.
It is a beautiful theatre, very reminiscent of the old theatres in London's West End. We have these very grand theatre boxes, which people can book on certain nights. It seats over 800 at one seating, and the blue and gold decor is in keeping with the Art Deco theme throughout the whole ship.
My dad's quite a famous South African artist, so I spent a lot of time in art galleries and art exhibitions all over the world. And it's quite impressive how much space they've made available for this impressive and very diverse art collection. I love this piece in particular. A little clue as to where we're going to end up in our journey.
The Daily Telegraph Ultra Travel Award voted the Queen Elizabeth the best cruise liner in the world for 7 years running.
Well, you certainly do have the best office in the world.
Well, I need to be able to see where we're going, obviously, but I do.
So what do you want your guests to take away from this cruise experience?
It's whatever they want. Some people come determined to have a busy 2 weeks and see everything there is to see, and we can accommodate that. Other people will come and say, I actually just want to relax, watch the scenery go by, sit on deck and just enjoy it all.
The same as Janez and I explore any city that we visit, we explored this ship and we stumbled upon probably the favourite activity, so to speak, on the Queen Elizabeth.
My dancing is pretty limited. It's not often that I say I'm not good at something, but dancing is definitely one of those things I just can't do it.
He's just lost
Giving up. I'm giving up. I can't do this. No, I'm not doing this anymore. That's embarrassing.
My dance partner has 2 left feet. Crisis.
Our first port of call is Salerno. Now, if you go back 60 kilometers in that direction, you get to Napoli. Everything in between is the gorgeous Amalfi Coast. Now, we're on the Lungomare, which is considered one of the most beautiful promenades in all of southern Italy.
This is also the home to the first medical university in the world, and the first gynecologist in the world comes from here. And you know what? It was a woman.
There has to be a working and operational side of Italy, and Salerno is that. And it's a city where people really know how to drive.
Some of the best gems and hidden treasures of Italy are often found in the old town.
And this really is quite a beautiful old town. I can't wait to experience all the things that are typical to this place.
I know, me too.
Salerno was built in a time when there weren't any cars, but in today's world, they drive cars on roads that were meant for walking.
He's not going to fit in here ever.
Oh my goodness, no, he's not going to make this turn. No. And we're... no. No.
What if you get stuck? I mean, if I drove there, I wouldn't have any side view mirrors at all.
Wow, congratulations!
Bravo!
The Italian cars have actually been designed accordingly because the rear view mirrors actually bend inwards. You can press a button, they move in when you go down a really narrow road so that you don't scrape them off.
The roads just get narrower and narrower.
That's incredible. Okay, Jeans, never again will I complain about a narrow street.
Never again will I complain about Italian drivers.
Next week on Top Travel, Jeannie and Janez drop anchor at Pietra Salmare and try their hand at pottery before visiting a medicinal garden. It's then off to Santorini in Greece to get busy in the kitchen, parasail on the beach and explore the island city of Rhodes. Then to Turkey, where Jeannie attempts to weave a little magic.